Lloyd, this award is given in recognition of your steadfast commitment to building the public and private structures that help West Virginia children soar to their fullest potential. The podium is yours, sir.
Thank you very much. Tom, thank you so very much for those kind words. I certainly don't deserve them, but nevertheless, Trina, I hope you were listening closely, honey, as he was saying those things. When the history of this time is written, I can guarantee you that the contributions of Tom Haywood to our state will be legion without doubt. I also want to give a special thanks to my friends here where I serve on the board at the Clay Center. They're back at the table back here. They do a marvelous job, and what a marvelous facility this is. How thankful we are to people like Chuck Avampato, who's sitting back here, Newt Thomas, who I saw sitting over here, and one of all of our dear friends, John McClarity, that we have a place like this to come and celebrate this kind of event. We ought to be ever so thankful for those people. And a special thanks to the folks at KidsCount for honoring me with this award. Because of the constant and persistent work and support and efforts of the people at KidsCount, the lives of innumerable kids in West Virginia, particularly the most vulnerable, are a little bit brighter. I'm honored to receive this award and to receive it from a group that quietly does so much for and means so much to the children of our state. And yes, I couldn't be here without thanking my wife, Trina. Now, you're saying every person in politics has to thank their wife when they get to the podium. They have to pay this price of thanking their spouse. But I want to tell you, this is no ordinary thanks. And to understand this, I want to take you back to 1989. In 1989, I was beginning my third year in the State Senate. Governor Caperton had just taken office, and my oldest son, LG, had just turned 3 years old, Marty. After a few years in the legislature, listening to friends and education chairs like Sandra Lucht and Keith Burdett, it became clear to me that it was time for Trina and for me to get LG and ultimately our son Ryan into a quality early childhood program. Perhaps that's an easy thing to do here in Charleston or other metropolitan areas in West Virginia, but in 1989 I can tell you something. There wasn't any program, good or bad, Kyle, in Lincoln County or Hamlin, West Virginia. There was none. The closest program to us was at Enslow Park Presbyterian Church in Huntington, West Virginia, almost an hour's drive from Hamlin. So my wife, Trina, for 4 years, 2 years for each of our boys, drove them to Huntington either 3 or 4 days a week, back and forth so they could attend a quality early childhood program, Perry. And as I watched them mature, and by the way, if you've ever driven Route 10 from Hamlin to Huntington, Gary White, you know what I'm saying. And as I watched my children mature, not just in preschool, but in elementary school, my eyes were open to begin to ponder these questions. How many parents in Lincoln County, or for that fact, in any county in rural West Virginia, had access to quality early childhood programs? How many families could afford one of the parents to not work, drive an hour to a quality program 3 or 4 days a week, wait a half day while the kids were in school, and drive an hour back home the other way? Frankly, how many parents could afford a quality early childhood program even in areas where they were available? And finally, how many parents really understood the importance of such programs and had the resources to make these things happen for their kids? And I tell you what I realized. I realized first that the Lord had blessed Trina and me with the resources to provide our boys with these things, but I probably could count on one, no more than 2 hands, Olive, the number of people in Lincoln County who were fortunate enough to share these blessings. And the fact is, that just wasn't fair. So in 2002, when the opportunity came along to build a program within the school aid formula that would replace the declining number of school-age kids we had with the 4-year-olds in our program, many of us knew we had found a way for every child and every parent in West Virginia to participate in the same type of program that we had made available for our boys because of Trina's efforts in our life. Now, we knew it would take time and some money, and there would be many policy challenges, and those of you in the room who have worked on this program know we've had our share of policy challenges. So with the advice and support of then President and now Governor Tomlin, and my very good friend and finance chair, Oshel Craigo, who's someplace in this room today, we planned a 10-year phase-in program, and 10 years later, folks, here we are today. 10 years later, we are on the verge of full implementation of a 4-year-old program that already is recognized as one of the best in the country, Bill Rainey. Not 49th or 50th. We hear that too much, Bob, don't we? Not 49th or 50th. I'm talking about one of the best, if not the best in the country. You say, Lloyd, how can you say that? Well, while the trend in most states has been to address these tough economic times we're in by cutting spending on early childhood programs, West Virginia's investment has increased with our participation. With a year to go before full implementation of our program, West Virginia already meets 8 of the 10 national quality benchmarks, and we are on target to meet all 10 by 2013. Only 5 states in the nation can say that, and when you look at our participation rate, I'm confident we will have the most robust program in the nation when we implement this fall. West Virginia has, listen to this, Judy, West Virginia has over 15,000 children in early childhood programs today, and I can say that in 1989, we just had a few thousand, maybe a few hundred in programs, or quality programs in West Virginia, and we're well on our way to full access this fall. But what do others say about our program? Steve Barnett, who is the director of the Nonpartisan National Institute for Early Education at Rutgers, says this: West Virginia has become a national beacon, I like that word, a national beacon for what is possible in state pre-K, even in difficult financial times. We commend West Virginia for staying on schedule as it marches towards this goal of universal pre-K access by 2013, illustrating what other states seem to have forgotten during budget season. Investment in high-quality education today is worth it tomorrow. And let me tell you who deserves our gratitude for making this happen. It is the people who many like to criticize the most, the hardworking government employees in West Virginia, the folks at the Department of Education, our friends at the Department of Health and Human Resources, the folks who work in Head Start, yes, and most importantly, our teachers and our service personnel in West Virginia who make these programs work, our private providers in West Virginia, and the advocates, many of you who are in this room today, who work daily, most of you without pay, on behalf of the children of West Virginia. Yes, we've done a lot, but there's still much yet left to do. The 4-year-old program is just one element of an agenda that must be completed. There is more, and without touching on them all, I can tell you that we need to assure that every prospective mother in West Virginia has access to quality prenatal care, Bob Walker. I can tell you that we need to facilitate more home visits to assist and educate parents about the importance of programs just like our early childhood program. We need daycare available in greater quantity and quality for all of our children, and we need quality after-school programs. And maybe most important today, we need full implementation of our quality rating and improvement system, not only that will provide parents with information about the facilities and the programs where they'll place their most precious assets, their children, but will provide a methodology and funding to help us improve all the programs across West Virginia. I want to close by telling you a little story. There was a farmer who had some puppies for sale one day, and he was out nailing up a sign on his fence pole. And he felt a little tug at his leg on his overalls, and he looked down, there was a little boy, and he was standing there with a big smile on his face and something clenched in his hand. Mister, he said, I want to buy one of your puppies. Well, the farmer said, these puppies come from fine parents, son, and they cost a lot of money. The boy dropped his head for a minute and sighed, then he looked back up and he said, well, I got 39 cents. Can I at least look at the puppies? Sure, the farmer said, and with that he whistled and called out, Dolly, here, Dolly. Out from the doghouse, down the ramp ran Dolly, followed by 4 little fur balls. And the boy was clearly excited. Then out from the doghouse peeked one little more fur ball. It was a lot smaller. Down the ramp it slid and began hobbling in an unrewarding attempt to catch up with the other puppies. You see, this was the run of the litter, and it had some issues. The little boy pressed his face to the fence and cried out, "I want that one," pointing at the runt. The farmer knelt down and said, "Son, you don't want this puppy. This puppy will never be able to run and play with you the way you'd like." With that, the boy reached down and slowly pulled up one of his trouser legs. In doing so, he revealed that he had 2 metal strips running down his leg, hooked in the bottom to a specially made shoe. Looking up at the farmer, he said, "You see, sir, I don't run too well myself. And he will need someone who understands." My friends, some of our most vulnerable children in West Virginia don't run too well, and they need you to understand. Those who are poor and powerless, with no voice in government, whose parents struggle daily just to make ends meet, need all of us and our state leaders to understand. Even the children of parents who are just struggling today to stay in the middle class need us to understand. We're off to a great start with our 4-year-old program, but understand this. It is only a start, and there is much that remains to be done. Thank you for this award today, and God bless each and every you all for being here and supporting Kids Count today. Thank you very much.